no le ha salido, ¿no? Porque él quiere estudiar mecánico.
Lorenzo told me his wife didn't stop bleeding after she gave birth. He left her and the baby with his mother-in-law and set out on his bicycle to get help. Pedaling in the dark for 10 miles in pouring rain, he barely made it to town. He finally found a doctor, but by the time they got back to the house, 3 hours had passed. Lorenzo's wife died just as they entered the room. Adolfo, who's now a year old, survived by being breastfed by his aunt. Lorenzo's son Juan dropped out of school to help take care of his brothers and sisters. And Lorenzo's health has worsened since his wife's death. The family is struggling just to survive. For Gladys, the emergency was different, but it could have been just as deadly. The fetus was in a dangerous breech position. A well-trained team performed the emergency C-section. Because Gladys had regular prenatal care and a trained midwife that knew when to refer her to the hospital, she and her baby avoided a potential tragedy. Maternal mortality was all too common in the southern highlands of Peru. Fortunately, in the past 5 years, the number of maternal deaths has fallen dramatically. I came to Peru to see what had made such a difference. In Ayacucho, I met Basilia Vivanco, a midwife who had helped spearhead the change.
Ayacucho was averaging 35 maternal deaths a year. In 2004, we gathered the midwives, doctors, leaders from the regional hospital, and began to formulate a set of guidelines for obstetric emergencies. We brought in all the people from the rural health post. Over 200 people worked on it. CARE facilitated the process. We are so proud. The 2004 guide is now famous and is being implemented all over Peru.
These guidelines were a crucial step in addressing the problem of maternal mortality. The next hurdle was to get them implemented. Eugenia raises llamas and sheep on the high plains of southern Peru. Like most Quechua women, she gave birth to her 3 children at home. She just didn't see any benefit to going into the local health post. 3 years ago, she began training with CARE to become a citizen monitor, or what they call a vigilante. 1 day a week, she rides 6 miles to the health post to volunteer her services. Her presence builds the trust between the healthcare providers and their clients. That trust is the key to the extraordinary improvement that has taken place in Peru's maternal health program.
At first, the women did not trust the health post. The doctors did not speak our language or honor our traditional methods of birthing. I asked the women, "Do you trust the treatment you are getting? Does the doctor speak Quechua? Do they treat you with respect?"
The suggestions and complaints that Eugenia and other vigilantes gather help create the understanding of the Quechua views and traditions. Their findings are then sent to Peru's health ministry to be addressed.
For me, it was very important to learn about my rights in the trainings. It meant that women didn't have to limit ourselves to the home. We could go out and have responsibilities with groups. We could go and speak with authorities about what we need and want. This has given me strength.
What a brilliant strategy. an army of volunteer women. Women empowered just by learning their rights and getting a forum to share their insights. They are now bridging the cultural divide that had kept women from seeking and obtaining the health care that they were entitled to. Like most Quechua people her age, 20-year-old Tarsila was born at home. However, 2 years ago, because of the recent improvements, Tarsila's mother decided to give birth to her last child at the health center. Following her mother's example, Tarsila and her husband Jorge came to the local health post to deliver their baby. Basilia assisted. Just hours after giving birth, Tarsila left the hospital with her baby. Basilia and I followed as she, Jorge, and her mother took a taxi to the base of a steep, rugged trail. At 12,000 feet, it was all we could do just to keep up as she made the hour-long climb up to her home with her baby strapped to her back. Tarsila and Jorge's days are filled with hard work and few comforts. But as I watched Basilia instruct Jorge on how to attend to his wife, I had a feeling that Tarsila has what she needs to keep her and her baby healthy. As I walked back down the mountain, I thought to myself, healthcare for the poor can't be solved simply by building more hospitals. What matters is what happens in those hospitals. CARE brought the right people together to create a system that respects local culture and improves the quality of healthcare. The result is women's lives and the families that depend on them are being saved.